Welcome back to the T5 YouTube channel, everybody. Today we're going to have a look at making your own kitchen unit for your VW T5 camper. Now, those of you that have been following me will have seen in my previous videos I've got the full width rock and roll bed, which is there. I know a lot of people have the furniture down the right hand side, but today we're going to look at how to make your own kitchen pod. Now, you've probably seen these online. They range from about £600 to £800 if you buy them. Now, the reason why I'm going to make my own is because I bought this Dometic Smev fridge here. Excuse the, there's a bit of sawdust there where it's been stored in my garage. But essentially I'm going to make my own kitchen pod unit to my own bespoke dimensions on a budget to fit this fridge in. And it comes with all the waste connections and a 12 volt pump tap. So I'm going to make my own unit, and I'm going to try and do it as cheaply as possible because I haven't got £600 to £800 to spend on a unit. And also the beauty of making it yourself is you can make it to bespoke dimensions. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is to measure up where I want it. And then if you see this bit of timber here, that's 38mm by 38mm timber, which I'm going to use to make the frame. Now that's just from B&Q. So that was about £16 for 4 of these, and that's more than enough. So as I say, first things first, we're going to measure up. So just bear with me while I shuffle around. Now what I want is these electrics on the bulkhead are going to sit on the side of the unit, so I'm going to move these, and these, rather than being vertical, they're going to sit horizontally across. Also, what I need to bear in mind is when I fold my rock and roll bed out, obviously I want it to be able to fold out without fouling the unit. I don't want it to bang into the front. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to make one that's about 300 mils deep. And then I'm going to go, roughly speaking, about 770, so 77 centimetres wide. And then I want it to sit nicely under here. This bulkhead is going to go eventually, but that's for later on in the year. So for now, I want it to sit neatly under there. So I'm going to go about 630, that's 63 centimetres, 630 mils high. So here we are, everybody. This is the frame that you've just seen me cutting. A tip that I would say is to cut everything by hand using a tenon saw. I have got a mitre saw, a push saw, but I decided to cut everything by hand because there's not that many cuts, and just to ensure accuracy. So what I've done, I'll just pop in there, is I've braced each corner with a metal bracket and a few screws just to give it extra strength. And essentially, so now we've got the frame for this unit, which is 770 wide, 300 deep, and about 630 high. Now a few of you are probably thinking, well, this space here isn't going to take a sink. That's because I've got a different idea, which I'll show you in a minute. But the depth of this will nicely sit fresh water tank, waste tank, and then what I already actually happen to have is an offcut from a kitchen worktop. So I've cut that down to size. I'll just rest that on top. You'll get the idea that so that's going to give a worktop space there. And as I said before, what I'm going to do is I'll show you the furniture board in a minute. It's a nice black Hacienda black lightweight furniture board. I've just got this bit of MDF. I won't be using this, but just to give you an idea. So basically I'll cut the furniture board down to size like that. And then these electrics here that you did see on the bulkhead will fit horizontally at the top there. And I'm going to put a double socket here at the bottom in the actual furniture board, not on this MDF offcut, and connect them up to my inverter. Now for the sink, I'm not going to be chopping it into the top, which I've just said. I'm going to go for a completely bespoke design. I'll just demonstrate that with this bit of MDF if I can do that one-handed. I'm going to try, I'm going to cut it to the right size, and I'm going to cut the hole for the sink in this once in the proper furniture board, and then I'm going to put it on a gas strut so it folds out. So you're going to get something like that, which will flop back and forward, hold on the gas strut, and the sink will be in that unit, and I'll still have that workspace there. I plumb it all in underneath. Now the beauty of that is, because I've made this only 300mm deep deliberately, if I was to fit the sink in the top unit, it'd have to be a lot wider. And you've probably seen these units, as I was talking about, that cost £600–800, and they're quite big, cumbersome units. And because mine's a short wheelbase van, if I bought one of those and folded the bed out, I don't think the bed would fold all the way out before hitting one of those units, which is why I've gone for the narrower design. And then, as I say, it's going to be a hinged piece of furniture board, not this MDF, on a gas strut. Then the sink will be there, which will allow me to either sit nicely on the little footstool there, or here, and have access to that and still have all this space either side. Okay, so we're now in my garage. Excuse the mess, everybody, but this is the furniture board that I'm going to be using. It's one sheet, it costs £45, and it's finished in black hacienda, which looks rather nice and will match everything else in the van. The size of it is 620 by 2440, that's in millimetres, and that should be plenty. So if you picture the frame, which is actually now back inside the house, inside the garage, I said that we're going to have this side panel here with the electrics at the top where my thumb is, and a double socket down the bottom. So essentially what I'm going to do with this bit of furniture board is, if I can do this one-handed, it's a matter of chopping out the relevant size bits. So I'll mark and cut across there. Excuse the flicker if anybody's getting a flicker of light there. And I'll cut out the size of the sink, and that will make the flap, which will then be on a couple of hinges and a couple of these gas struts. So here we are back over at the van. You've just seen me cut the side panel and what is going to be the flap for the kitchen sink. Top tip there, use some frog tape or masking tape, and that gives you really nice neat edges. Really happy with that. So you get an idea there of what the side panel looks like, and then that is where I am going to cut the hole for the sink. So a bit difficult to do one-handed because that's the correct size. I'll just prop it at an angle so I can get my fingers underneath it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that a day for this video. I'm going to split this video into 3 parts. The first part you've just seen. The second part, I'm going to show you how to mark out the hole for the Smev Dometic 8005 sink. And cut that hole, obviously, and then cut the electrics, the USB points into the side here, and my double socket. That'll be video number 2. And then the final video, I'll show you how to wire up the pump tap, and the electrics to my leisure battery.